Hi there, Phil here. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk about how our appliances work in the kitchen and the bathroom. If you're absolutely unsure about how things work, watch this video. Better still, ask one of the housemates. Let's start off with the microwave. Alright, this microwave is not one of these ordinary microwave, it's microwave, and it does electric grill, and it works as an electric oven, or it can do a combination of these three things. We have a manual in our drawer. I'll show you where it is in a moment. So what is the rule here? Well, once we're finished with it, we'll leave the thing slightly ajar and switched off. Why do we do this? We do this because if you have any kind of steam in there and you keep the thing closed, what will happen over time is that the bottom will kind of start to rust. I've seen them where the bottom actually there's a hole appears. So it's good to leave it ajar, and also because then you don't get build up of smell if you're doing anything that's too has a strong smell. A microwave, that's self-explanatory, so let's just turn this thing on. Microwave, you've got high, you just keep pressing it, you've got defrost. The little screen here tell you what's going on. Cancel. Or if you want to do grill, it's got 3 levels, 1, 2, 3. 1 is the lowest, up to 3, which is the highest. So here you can do like fish or even toast on it. Convection, you've got, if I start to press that, it starts from 150 and it's a fan oven, and it goes all the way to 220. Right? Once you press those functions, then you set the time. So how do you go and set the time? You just press, where is it? You press, let's say, you press up here, look. So we've got hour, minute, 10 of minutes, ones of minutes and seconds. Set that and just press start. Okay, some kind of commonly used things, but which I never use anyway. You've got Chinese curry all the way down to pizzas. So leave it ajar. So that's how you should find it, and that's how you should leave it. Okay, right. Let's go over to the cooker. So here it's a gas cooker, and okay, I'm doing this with one hand. What happens is that you for the those hobs there, you turn the dial, keeping it pressed. You press the ignition once or twice, so you don't have to hold it down. So you turn this, press that once, and you should hear a click, and then the thing comes on. Right, the oven, well, it's not a great oven, I prefer to use the electric one. It's not well calibrated. Is to turn the thing on, it goes all the way to gas mark 1 to 8. You turn the thing on, but you've got to, and then press it, but you've got to keep this thing held down for like around up to 16 seconds. It's a safety feature. So if you just turn this and turn it on the gas and just press this and just let go of this dial, the fire will just go out. So you've got to hold this for like a while, keep and ignite it once, and just keep this thing held pressed. It's important to know that if you're going to use the grill, there's a protector for here, which I'll show you where that is in a moment, and that's to protect these knobs from overheating. In fact, one of our housemates has ended up burning one of these buttons because they didn't use that. There's no point really, no need to actually use this grill, because as I said, the microwave does pretty much everything. Okay, so storage. So if we turn around here, underneath the cupboard down here, that's where you find the kind of plates, and I believe that this is the grill protector. Right, so let's look back. Yep, very important to keep this thing clean. So it's seen as it's clean as you go. Please wipe it down after you finish. So you can see this is how it looks now, and this is how it should be left. If you're going to do something very oily, it's a good idea also to wipe the back walls, the side walls, and check the floor isn't greased. And the side here as well. You can see that someone has there's all splashes back here using loads of oil, in which case then this area is going to get drenched and also wipe that down as well, please. Okay. Right. Now, when you're cooking, since it's right by the windows, good idea to open up the windows there. There is a hood there with a fan, although that doesn't work too great. The thing is, the windows work good. Moving on, let's go up to the washing machine. Okay. Now, all you'd have to do, this is the dial, you set it to the temperature and the type of material. If you're using biological washing powder, note that all you need is 30 C, you don't need the higher temperatures. Okay, so, and what a good thing about this machine is that it's got a timer here. It tells you how long your load is going to take to wash, which is great because when washing, you want to hang around till your load is done. We don't want people turning on the washing machine and then just leaving the house. Okay, so if I turn it to say cotton and 30 degrees, you'll see here, it should tell me it takes 1 hour 5 minutes. The fastest is the freshen up. So if you've got something just freshen up, that takes 19 minutes. All right. So once you've set it to where you want, well, first of all, we should close the door, obviously. This is common sense stuff. Right, close the door, set it to what we want, and then you can set the spin. Spin cycle just means at the end how much spin you're going to get now. We've got 1200 max. What that means is that it's going to spin it real good. So by the time it comes out, it'll be almost dry. All right. So you don't want to use the lower ones if you've got things that crease easily. So 1200 is good. These are additional things, but I never use them. You don't really need to use those. Once we're set, push this start and it'll go. All right. Now, the only thing that can go wrong here is that when you press start, nothing comes up except for an error button which says F something. That usually happens because you haven't shut the door properly, right? So if it's not closed, and this happens I've seen this happen with our housemates, you don't close it properly, if you only kind of a bit closed, then the thing just doesn't work. So once you press start, just check that it starts making sound. It means it's working, then you can walk off. When we're done, it's a very good idea. We want to leave this open, this door here open, because what you'll find is all that's got moisture on it, and also the inside of this drum will have moisture. What happens, like my neighbours, is that if you keep this thing closed, is that down here you're going to get black mould, and that's no good for your clothes eventually. If I lift this lip here, you'll see there's a lot of water collection down here. Now you don't have to do anything about that, although for me, I tend, when I'm around, I don't expect you to do it, just dry the thing now and then. Stick this cloth here and dry that. Okay. In the summer months it's not a problem because that will just dry very quickly, but in the winter you can imagine that that's just going to, moisture is just going to sit there, and with the heat you're going to get mould eventually. The other thing that I've learned, 2 years ago I learned this from a John Lewis man, is that what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to kind of keep this thing slightly ajar, because what happens is water will collect down here and you get a lot of gunk, especially bacteria, forming inside of there. And obviously if you don't clean that, that's going to wash into your clothes. So what I do is I pretty much often I take this out. Now how do I do that? This here, you push down and that releases. Okay, that releases and you can pull it out. And then, and I've done this already so there's no water in here, but usually you find loads of pretty much water sitting in there. If you lift this, and I haven't cleaned this so you can see now, you see a load of bacteria and dirt. And that's just what happens, this is bacteria. This bacteria lives pretty much everywhere. So what do? I tend to just dry the thing. So again, you don't have to do this, but if you wish to, now and then, just stick it on there, and that dries in no time. All right. Occasionally, I just wipe inside of there out as well. So just leaves the machine clean. But it's not something that you would know, because it's not something that I've never seen it with my family, for example. Okay, so that is the washing machine, right? So once we've set the thing going, just hang around, wait till it's finished, and then open it, empty it, and just leave it, because whatever you do, don't turn it on and leave the house. Okay, there's a tumble dry here. Now this is It's not a great thing. We tend what to use only in the winter months. All right, so it doesn't do like, it does up to about 6 kilograms. So basically, the amount of washing you put in there is going to be more than 6 kilograms if it's full. So in other words, it doesn't really make sense to transfer everything in there to everything in there, because then you're over the 6 kilogram limit. And what that means is the machine is pretty useless, because you put it in there for 4 hours and it's still wet, the stuff. All right, so you can see it goes up to 120 minutes, so 620, 2 hours. You set this thing, you push that, and that sets it off. You've got option of low heat or high heat. All right. When we're done with this, you will get a lot of fluff lint. So what you do is pull this out, and you'll get a whole load of stuff in there that will clean out. Right, that's dirt, and then you can put it back in. Now, the way I've labelled it, some people don't know which way around it goes. You can see I've written on there facing out, so it should go back like this. All right. I know this is common sense to a lot of you, but anyway, I've just got to. These are the instructions. Okay, and with this again, it's a good idea just to wipe this down or leave it slightly ajar when you're done, because of the moisture. Okay. Well, I'm saying that, but I might get rid of this one. I might exchange this one for the moment, because how this, all right, yeah, I don't need to say any more about that. Okay, kettle, there. Right, we're all like our cup of tea or coffee or whatever. So with this one, we leave it. You see, when it's not in use, it's pretty much, there's nothing in it. And that's because we're living in a hard water area, and if you leave water sitting in there, what you're going to get in there is massive buildup of fur, which makes it A, inefficient to heat up water, and B, you can have flakes of dirty old minerals floating around in your tea, whatever. So I've got this kettle comes with a filter, and it's better than most kettles I've seen on the market because it comes with a steel cores, as opposed to you'll see some made of plastic. And the plastic ones are no good, because you'll find over time the plastic ones just disintegrate. This is steel. I can wash this. Stick it back in here, but again, that's not something for you to consider, but because I'll do it. But you just make sure that the thing is, just heat the water that you need to use. This isn't the levels here. Heat the water you need to use, and then we'll be fine. Okay, washing area. That's self-explanatory. Just to say that we like to pretty much keep this area clean. So once you've washed up, if you can pretty much dry and put your stuff away, that would be great. Sometimes when it's sunny, I put the stuff over on this area here because it dries much faster. Okay. Now, one more thing to say is that manuals. So the manuals of all these things I've just talked about are kept in this drawer, the third one along. So you've got one for the microwave, you've got it for the cooker, you've got it for everything. So look in there for the Hoover as well. Okay. All right, the bins then. The bins are small. Right, that's the idea of that is because we want to kind of empty it often, usually once a day. So there's two bins, one for the normal rubbish and one is for recycling. So collection is taken once, it's on a Friday. For recycling, it's done once a week. For normal garbage, it's once a fortnight, because the council is trying to encourage us to recycle. You can see the list of the stuff which can be recycled. So just look at, yeah, just put it in there. All right, and that's it for the kitchen. Again, if you're not sure about things, just ask one of your housemates, or ask me. Okay, now we'll come to the bathroom, and we've got a fantastic shower, a lovely eco rain shower, and it's got good pressure. I have a lovely shower in there. All right, bathroom etiquette is that after a shower, get hold of this. What do you call this thing? I've got it now. You can see what in my hand, and you just wipe down the surface, and also wipe down the surface here. It only takes about a couple of seconds. Do that around here, all the way down the bottom. Why do we do that? It's because we're living in a hard water area. So if you don't do it on the screen, you're going to get watermarks which look ugly and takes age to get off. Why do we, so this is common knowledge, but why do we do it on the tiles? Because that's less, kind of, people do that less. It's because the grout here is a lovely white colour now, but if you don't do it, what happens, it will discolour the grout. The grout, usual grout, is porous, so the water goes straight in and it can stain it, and then you're never going to get it out, or it's going to be very hard to get out. You can see some slight staining here, or it's going to go yellow. If you go to a gym and you look at their grout next time, you will see it pretty much turns grey, pretty much ugly. Makes your bathrooms look old. Right? So this is like, at the moment, it's like a 3-year-old bathroom, but it looks pretty much still like if it's brand new. Okay, so I wipe that, and also, so the minimum is just to scrape the sides, right? You're not expected to do what I'm going to tell you now, because I will do it, is that if I'm around, I will also wipe that, because if the water sits along here, like it had done in the past, what happens is you're going to get black mould forming along here. It just happens. I've kind of replaced the silicone there, but you can see it's black mould here. That's too late now, but that's far gone. I wipe that to make sure it's gone. And also on the underside of this shower screen is that when it's left in this position and you have a shower and you just wipe it down and walk away, water still sits on the underside of this, and over time, over a few months, what happens is you're going to get green algae forming on there, and that's, you can't get rid of that as well. You're going to have to kind of just rip this out and replace it, which is what I've done. So one of my housemates, kind of I picked this from one housemate, what he does is occasionally take this, wipe this down and just scrub the underside of this, or just kind of leave it in this position so it just drips away, so that's left dry. And then this will look nice and clean and you get more wear out of it. Alright, you see some parts where it's not possible to do that, what happens, it tends to go. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing, the final thing, is that when we're done, we leave that window open just to let all the kind of steam mush out. Because if you don't do that, what happens is steam builds up, and what happens is on the ceiling, we had this before, you get black mould forming on that ceiling. I've had that before, don't want that again. Okay, so we do that. In the winter months where it's too cold to open the windows, I've got a dehumidifier, and we just put it outside and just set it. Okay, so let's show you the dehumidifier. Okay, so this is the dehumidifier. Now, this is the front of it, but what you want is this, the back of it to be facing the bathroom, because the air will be coming here, and the cleansed air will be coming out through here. So the humid air in, and the dry air out. This is the kind of screen here where you've got the settings, but pretty much you just want on default. You just turn the thing on, and what happens is that the water will collect in this tank here. Once it's full, this thing will just stop, and down here will just tell you that the thing is full. So you just pull it out, just empty it, put it back in, and off you go again. Okay, so that's the dehumidifier. One more thing to add is that this dehumidifier is great for drying clothes. So once you've got your clothes, you can use the communal kind of rack there, which is over here. Put that in your room. Turn this on. Usually, overnight, your clothes will dry because it's fantastic. So it's better than putting your clothes on a radiator like that. Okay, if you put on a hanger, turn that on, your clothes are going to dry very quickly.